Top of the morning, good people of the world. No, really, it is actually the top of the morning. It's 5 something in the morning. I just won the morning. What I want to talk about is why you may want to win the morning as well, and give you 3 quick tips to help you do so. So first off, why would you want to win the morning? Aside from the fact that this was a bit of a trendy idea with the various productivity and internet gurus, there is a fair amount of legitimacy to it. You know, whether you're Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or Mother Teresa or Gandhi or whatever great figure you can think of, there's one commonality between you, myself, and folks like that. We all have 24 hours in a day. No matter how rich you are, no matter how good looking you are, no matter how powerful you are, you still get those same 24 hours. And what differentiates various types of people is how they use those 24 hours. And if you're like me, you've probably at some point in your life complained that you don't have enough hours in the day, but the fact of the matter remains, you have the same amount of hours as everyone else. So how do you use those hours more effectively? One way that I found, and I certainly didn't invent this, I found this from the same gurus and internet productivity wizards that you've probably listened to, was getting up early. For me, that does a few things. First of all, it essentially kind of adds hours to your day. It's time you would have spent sleeping, and they're good hours. They're the hours where you're fresh out of bed, you're mentally fresh, you're physically refreshed, hopefully you got a good night of sleep, and you're just ready to take on the world. Having that time where no one else is up, no one's around, no phones are beeping, no emails are coming in, there's no video conferences you have to be on or buses that you have to catch. That's high value time. That's time where you can really get some things done. And it's time you can use to even launch new activities. So maybe if you're thinking of making some life changes like working out more, and you've just found that at the end of the day you're too tired, you never actually get to the gym or get outside for that run. If you do that first thing in the morning, it's done. If you do that before anyone's asking for things or before you gotta get the kids off to school or whatnot, then you essentially have added that high value activity to your day. You've done it first thing in the day, and now the world is your oyster. So that brings us to our first tip. That's figuring out an overarching goal for why you want to win the morning. Just because some goober on the internet says that winning the morning is a grand idea and something you should try, that may get you to try it once or twice, but what you really need is some overarching objective that's valuable to you. Maybe it's getting in shape, maybe it's pursuing that new side hustle you've been thinking about, maybe it's having a little more time to really focus on your work and get rid of that feeling that you're kind of constantly underwater. Maybe it's just having a little time for yourself. If you're somebody that's running all day, from the moment that alarm goes off and you hit snooze once or twice, you feel like you're behind 3 steps back from where you'd like to be, try winning the morning. Even adding an extra half hour and just getting up and leisurely preparing for your day could make a world of difference. And that could be just as powerful and just as life-changing as somebody that gets up 3 hours earlier and hits the gym and writes their novel and bakes their fresh baguette or whatnot. So come up with that reason that's valuable for you, that's exciting for you, that gets you out of bed, and that ultimately maybe impacts 3 or 4 areas of your life that you're trying to change. There's no prohibition against winning the morning and using that to accelerate your fitness goals, to spend 20 minutes writing or reading or working on that side hustle. So it can be a big goal, it can be a bold goal, or it can just be as simple as I want to get ahead of the day and not feel like I'm behind all the time. And that flows into my second recommendation, which is just do it. This is not something that requires a great deal of planning. It's not something that's going to require equipment or preparation. Literally, if you're one of the 90% of humanity that wakes up via a smartphone or a smartwatch of some sort, no, seriously, turn that buzzer on and set it right now. I'll wait for you. I wouldn't even say kidding aside, because I am dead serious. You should set that alarm as we're speaking right now and start winning the morning as soon as tomorrow. Set yourself up for success. This doesn't have to be some grand creation. You don't need permission. You don't need the permits or equipment or gear or anything. But what you can do is, after you set that alarm and you've committed to yourself that you're going to give this a try tomorrow, set yourself up. If your goal of winning the morning is to go out for a run, get your shoes out, get your shorts out, put your running clothes next to your bed. My goal this morning was to film this video. So the night before, I made sure my batteries were charged. I set up my tripod, got all the crazy stuff I need to connect to my camera all connected up, and it was ready to go. I came out of bed. I actually was a little bit slow this morning, wasn't feeling great. Hit the snooze for the first time in a little while, and then couldn't quite get back to sleep. So I said, let's get after it. I came down, started feeling a little better the moment I looked in my office and saw my gear was ready, everything was ready to go. My script was written, I had a plan, and here I am. So the third tip, people have asked, is there a magic time for winning the morning? Do you have to get up at a time that starts with 5? Do you have to get up 90 minutes before you usually do? Do you have to get up 9 minutes before you usually do? And maybe there's some psychological or physical theory on the ideal optimized time to wake up for winning the morning. But for me, I just simplified it. And I'm a bit of someone that likes to get a little nerdy, so I use Excel. You could use Google Sheets or any kind of spreadsheet. You can use a pen and a pad. But what I would suggest is write down all the activities you want to do in the morning, write down the times that you think you'd like to commit to each of those activities, and then work backwards from the first thing that you have to be at that's got a dedicated time to it. As mentioned, I used Excel for this task, and I created a simple spreadsheet. All it was 3 columns. The first was the start time of an activity. The second was the duration, how many minutes I wanted to spend doing that activity, and then the activity. So what I would do is on that top line, put the first thing you have to do that's dedicated to a certain time. So maybe it's catch the train to work, maybe it's be on a daily check-in meeting. In my case, it's being ready to make breakfast for the kids. So they wake up at a certain time, they come down, I make a breakfast, get them ready for school, and get them out for the bus. And much as I'd like to change the school calendar for the entire district, I don't quite have that power. So that's something that's at a fixed time for me. In this case, it's 6:25 when my kids roll down the stairs. So I put that 6:25 entry up at the top. And then I thought through what are all the activities I want to do in the morning. So for me, it was a few things. It was having some creative writing time. It was doing some yoga or stretching. Like most folks that run, my muscles get a little tight. And I find that doing some yoga or stretching every day just makes me feel way, way better, especially because the rest of the day I'm sitting in a chair. I wanted to spend some time doing some meditation, and it's nothing all that advanced. It's just kind of 7 minutes of sitting in silence. And I wanted to spend some time writing a journal in the morning. So got all those activities listed. I put down the times that I thought each one would require. And then that gives me the time that I need to wake up in order to do all that. In my case, it was 5 a.m. And the reason I did it in Excel, aside from over-engineering most of the things that I do, is after the first morning, I was able to go back and tweak things. So if something took a little longer than I thought, I could adjust that. If something was a little faster than I thought, I could put that in as well. And I'd also note, don't forget to add some time after you wake up to kind of go through your roll out of bed, make the bed, brush your teeth, all that sort of stuff before you come down and start getting after. Once you've built that schedule out, print it out. I have mine sitting on my desk over there. I look at it each morning and kind of make sure I've done the things I want to do. Make sure that I'm taking the time that I thought I would for each activity. If something takes a little less time, I can shuffle things around kind of on the fly. Or if I find that something's getting shortchanged, I can adjust that longer term, print it out again, and I've got a new version of my schedule, and I'm off to the races. So with your grand vision of why you want to win the morning in place, and your alarm set, kind of things set up, laid out, prepared for you to have a successful morning, and your schedule printed out, it's as simple as setting that alarm. The only other thing I'd add is, give yourself a little pep talk the night before. This should not be some sort of drudgery. This should not be a slog through the salt mines. This should be something you're excited about. As I kind of turn off the lights the night before, I'll think, hey, the alarm's going to go off at 5. That gives me all these possibilities. I have time for the things I want to do in the morning. I have time to kind of get myself prepared and be the best father I can be when my kids are coming down. I'm not rolling out of bed 2 minutes before they are to get them breakfast and then kind of being half in a fog and thinking through all the things I need to do during the day. I've had that hour to myself to get some of that done, to plan, to feel good, and be able to focus on the people around me, which is a pretty cool benefit. So with those tips in mind, again, give it a roll. This is probably one of the simplest self-improvement things to plan and execute. All it takes is moving that alarm a little bit and maybe spending 5 minutes thinking through how you want to spend that extra time in the morning, spending 35 seconds each night giving yourself a little pep talk and getting yourself excited for the possibilities that await you in the morning, and then rolling out of bed and doing it. Your first morning, you may find that you planned for 3 hours worth of activities and you only got up half an hour early. And don't let that be a reason to feel bad. Don't feel like you failed at winning the morning. Feel like you've had a major victory and that you've done that first experiment and taken that first step. And you've just got to tweak and adjust. Nobody does everything perfectly the first time. So don't hold yourself to that standard. Hold yourself to the standard of, I gave it a try, I've had an initial victory, and now it's just a matter of tweaking and adjusting. The other question I'll get is on the weekends. Do you continue this routine through the weekend? And I've tried it both ways. I've had a little bit of a mixed opinion. These days, I don't do my winning the morning routine on the weekend. I sleep in to the extent I can. My kids still get up fairly early, so they're probably up at 7:30, no matter what's happening. Use that weekend time to sleep in a little bit, and then Monday I'm right back at it. Similarly, if I'm feeling sick, that's probably the only time I'll snooze or I'll spend a little extra time in bed in the morning. But otherwise, when that alarm goes off, you should feel energized. You should leap out of bed. You shouldn't kind of lie there and think, woe is me. What the heck am I doing? This is terrible that I'm up so early. Again, make this something that's positive in your life. Make it something that's joyful. Make it something that you look forward to and that you relish, not something that's this kind of self-inflicted punishment and this self-flagellation and drudgery and thing you do to punish yourself because you're a bad person and need to be disciplined appropriately. It should be a celebration of you making yourself better, a celebration of you developing your talents, your skills, and kind of enhancing yourself so that you can be a better participant, a better citizen, a better father, mother, husband, wife, or just human out in the world. So celebrate that. The fact that you're watching this video, the fact that you're contemplating winning the morning, that's laudable. That's something that you should feel good about. That's something that you should embrace and something you should use to catapult yourself into being a better person and more of the person that you want to be. So I will hit that like button for you because you're here trying to make yourself better. If you would do the same for me, would appreciate it. If you have any things that you've done to improve your morning routine, if you found little nuances or tweaks that have helped you in the morning, throw something in the comments. I'll see if I can do a follow-up. I definitely do read those comments and respond. And good luck. Hopefully you have set that alarm. If not, once this video is over, while YouTube's queuing up the next thing or hitting you with some ads, set that alarm. Try it out for 1 week and see what you think and let me know in the comments, and best of luck. Peace.